A woman in a small apartment in Manila once told her neighbor that she had not paid full price for groceries in 4 years. Not because she was clipping coupons. Not because she had a second job. She said it started the week she brought home a single plant and put it by her door. Her neighbor laughed it off until 6 months later, that same neighbor was standing in her own kitchen holding a cutting from that same plant because her own luck had not moved an inch in years, and she was done waiting to find out if it was true. Stories like this exist in almost every culture on Earth, passed from grandmother to daughter, from market vendor to customer, from one desperate, hopeful person to the next. And they all point to the same quiet belief that certain plants do not just sit in a home. They work in it. They pull in what is wanted and push out what is not. Today you are going to meet 15 of them, plants that have been credited for generations with drawing in wealth, protection, and good fortune. Some you already own and have no idea what they're sitting on top of. One, near the very end of this list, has a story attached to it so strange that people who hear it once never look at that plant the same way again. And the placement rules matter more than the plants themselves, because the same plant in the wrong spot can do nothing, while in the right spot, according to those who have kept these traditions alive, it can change the entire feeling of a home. Before we start, drop the word abundance in the comments right now. Just that one word, and let us see how many of us are ready to invite it in. And if you enjoy plant wisdom, home energy, and the kind of grounded traditions that our elders never had to explain twice, subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss what is coming. Let us begin with number 15. Number 15, the bamboo palm. Most people buy the bamboo palm because it fills a corner nicely and does not ask for much. What they do not know is that in several Caribbean and Southeast Asian traditions, this plant is considered a quiet gatekeeper. Its narrow, upward-reaching stems are said to funnel energy straight up through a room rather than letting it pool and stagnate near the floor. Where other plants pull wealth toward themselves, the bamboo palm is believed to keep money moving, preventing it from settling in one place and going stale. Placed near a window that faces the street, it is thought to greet opportunity before it even reaches your door. Keep it in bright, indirect light, and mist the leaves weekly, since dust on a bamboo palm is believed to slow the very current it is meant to keep flowing. The activation secret. Tie a single loose thread of gold or yellow ribbon near the top of the tallest stem. It does nothing to the plant physically, but in the tradition, it marks the plant as active, awake, and working rather than simply decorative. Number 14, the marigold. In Mexican and South Asian households alike, the marigold holds a strange dual role. It welcomes the dead home during festivals, and it welcomes money into the living space the rest of the year. Its color is the reason. That deep orange gold is associated in multiple traditions with the sun, and the sun, in nearly every belief system on Earth, is tied to vitality, growth, and increase. A wilting marigold is taken seriously in these households. It is not just a dead flower. It is treated as a warning that something in the home's finances needs attention before it becomes a real problem. Keep marigolds near a south-facing window, and replace them the moment the petals begin to brown. The activation secret. Sprinkle a few dried marigold petals into a small dish of water near your front door once a week. In the tradition, this keeps a constant, quiet current of solar energy circulating at the exact point where fortune enters or leaves your home. Number 13, aloe vera. Your grandmother probably kept one on the kitchen windowsill for burns and never thought twice about it. But older traditions describe aloe as something closer to a sponge for bad energy, silently drawing in the kind of heaviness that builds up in a home after months of financial worry. Its thick, water-filled leaves are said to store not just moisture, but tension, absorbing it so it does not linger in the air around you. Keep it near an east-facing window and never let it sit in soggy soil. A limp, overwatered aloe is read in this tradition as a home quietly losing its strength rather than building it. The activation secret. Once a month, wipe the leaves with a clean cloth and say, out loud, one thing you want to release from your life. According to the belief, the plant absorbs the words along with the dust. Number 12, the Boston fern. In several native traditions, ferns are considered threshold plants, kept exactly at the boundary between the outside world and the inside one. The Boston fern's job, according to this belief, is not to attract money directly, but to clear the residue of stress, argument, and disappointment from a space, so that new fortune has somewhere clean to land. Hang it near your entryway, slightly above eye level, so its energy is said to cascade down and filter whatever walks in beneath it. The activation secret: mist the fronds every few days, and as the water settles into the leaves, picture whatever has been weighing on your household being carried out with the extra droplets that fall to the floor. Number 11. The chrysanthemum. In Chinese tradition, this flower is tied to longevity and quiet endurance because it blooms in autumn, the exact season when most other plants are already retreating. A flower that gives its best when conditions turn against it is treated as a symbol of wealth that holds steady through hard seasons rather than wealth that only shows up in easy ones. Gold and yellow varieties are considered the strongest for this purpose. Keep them in the southwest corner of a living space and never allow a wilted bloom to sit there. A dying flower left in a wealth corner is treated in this tradition as an open door for the exact opposite of what you are trying to invite in. The activation secret: replace the water in a chrysanthemum's vase the moment it turns cloudy, since cloudy water sitting in a wealth corner is believed to muddy the very fortune you are calling toward you. Number 10. The peace lily. Its role in these traditions is not to pull money in directly. It is to clear the emotional wreckage that blocks money from arriving in the first place, the resentment, the grief, the heaviness that settles into a household after a long financial struggle. Keep it in the room where your family spends the most emotional time together, and let the north or east side of that room hold it. The activation secret: set a single small white stone at the base of the pot. White, in this tradition, represents clarity, and the stone is said to anchor the lily's clearing power so it keeps working even while the household sleeps. Number 9. English ivy. This one surprises people because ivy has a reputation in Western folklore as something almost menacing, the plant that swallows old buildings whole. But in older European household traditions, that same relentless growth is read as tenacity, the kind of persistence that eventually breaks through financial stagnation the way ivy eventually breaks through stone. Trained to climb rather than trail, it is placed near a home office or workspace as a symbol of steady, creeping progress that does not stop just because it is slow. The activation secret: once a season, gently guide the newest growth in the direction you most want your finances to move, upward toward a shelf, toward a window, toward the light. The plant, in this belief, follows intention as much as it follows the sun. Number 8. Holy basil, known across South Asia as Tulsi. Few plants on earth are treated with the reverence given to Tulsi. In Hindu households, it is not simply grown, it is tended like a living relative, watered at dawn, honored with a small lamp on Thursday evenings. The belief holds that where Tulsi thrives, the household is shielded from poverty and discord, because the plant itself is considered a living connection to the divine feminine force associated with prosperity. Keep it near an east-facing window where the first light of morning reaches it before anything else in the home. The activation secret: on Thursdays specifically, the day tied in this tradition to expansion and abundance, light a small lamp or candle beside it, and sit with it in silence for even 60 seconds. Number 7. The orchid. In Chinese tradition, the orchid represents refined, elegant wealth, the kind that arrives gradually and stays because it was built with patience rather than luck alone. Unlike plants associated with fast bursts of fortune, the orchid is tied to sustainable, long-term financial growth, the kind that survives setbacks because its roots were never shallow to begin with. A purple or deep pink orchid is considered strongest for this purpose. Place it in a home office or study, somewhere decisions about money are actually made. The activation secret: never let an orchid's roots sit in standing water. In this tradition, wealth that pools without moving turns stagnant just as quickly as water does, and the plant is meant to model exactly the kind of financial flow you want in your own life. Number 6. Pothos, also called devil's ivy for one simple reason: it refuses to die. Even in low light, even when neglected for weeks, it keeps growing. And in traditions across Southeast Asia and the Pacific, that refusal to quit is treated as the exact energy of unstoppable financial growth. Hang it high and let the vines trail downward, since a trailing vine is read in this belief as wealth cascading into a home from above rather than being chased after. The activation secret: Never trim a healthy vine out of impatience. Every new leaf is treated as a fresh extension of abundance already moving toward you, and cutting it short is believed to cut that momentum with it. Number 5. The rubber plant. Broad, glossy, dark green leaves are treated in Feng Shui as wealth collectors, their wide surface pulling in prosperity the way a wide net catches more fish than a narrow one. It is placed specifically in what practitioners call the wealth point, the corner diagonally opposite your main entrance. Stand in your doorway, look toward the far corner of the room, and that is where this plant belongs. Dust dulls the leaves, and dulled leaves are read as blocked financial energy, so keeping them wiped clean with a damp cloth is treated as maintenance for your fortune as much as for the plant. The activation secret. A red or gold pot is considered essential here, since the container itself is treated as part of the plant's energetic identity, not simply something that holds the soil. Number 4. The Chinese evergreen, known as aglaonema. Its deep reds and layered greens are tied in Feng Shui to fire energy, the element associated with forward movement and financial activation. Unlike most plants credited with strong wealth energy, it thrives in low light, which is treated as its most remarkable quality. A plant that demands almost nothing yet gives back constantly is considered a mirror for the kind of prosperity people actually want. Wealth that arrives quietly and stays without conditions attached. Keep it in the southeast or east side of a room and rotate it toward whatever light is available every so often. The activation secret. Place a small dish of fresh fruit beside it. In several Southeast Asian traditions, fruit set near a living plant is thought to activate ongoing nourishment, a signal to keep the increase steady rather than let it stall. Number 3. The ZZ plant, Zamioculcas zamifolia. Its thick, waxy leaves, glossy as if freshly polished, are treated in Chinese tradition as vessels that store wealth energy rather than simply reflect light. That shine is not considered incidental. It is read as the plant signaling that it is holding something valuable inside it. It belongs in the southeast corner of a home, the area tied in the 8-mansion system to wealth and sustainable growth. But there is a firm warning attached to it. Never let it droop. A wilting ZZ plant sitting in a wealth corner is treated as a symbol of fortune leaking out of a household rather than building inside it. The activation secret. Place a small piece of citron near its base. Citron is known in these traditions as the stone of abundance, and the pairing of the plant's stored energy with the crystals is considered one of the strongest combinations you can create in a home. Number 2. The jade plant, Chrysula ovata, called the money plant in Chinese households for one simple, visual reason. Its round, plump leaves are shaped almost exactly like coins. A plant shaped like currency, tinted with intention, becomes in this belief a living symbol of the exact abundance you are trying to call in. There is an old story, told with small variations everywhere it travels, about a man with very little who kept a single jade plant near his door and touched its leaves gently every morning before leaving the house. Not out of ritual exactly, more out of habit and affection. Years later, without anything dramatic happening, his circumstances had simply loosened. Whether the plant caused it or merely witnessed, it is beside the point in this tradition. The belief is that tending something living with real intention changes something in you first, and what changes in you eventually changes what surrounds you. Keep it near your front door or on a work desk, and never rush its growth. Slow, steady growth is treated as the exact energy of wealth that lasts rather than wealth that disappears as quickly as it arrived. The activation secret. Never accept a jade plant that was purchased for you unless it was given freely and with love. A jade plant received under pressure or obligation is believed to carry that obligation into your home along with it. Grow your own from a cutting whenever you can. And before I tell you what claims the number 1 spot, I want you to sit with this for a second. There is a tree that has been carried across oceans in the suitcases of families who refuse to leave it behind. A tree that stands at the entrance of nearly every prosperous business you have ever walked into without you noticing it was there on purpose. Its trunk is braided, and that braid is not decoration. Each strand is said to represent a separate stream of wealth, woven together and held in place by hand. The story behind it comes from Taiwan, about a farmer with almost nothing left, who found a small, unusual tree growing wild in a field and took it home simply because he had nowhere else to put his remaining hope. He tended it with the little he had, and as the tree grew, his circumstances slowly, quietly turned. He eventually propagated it, sold cuttings from that single tree, and rebuilt an entire life from what started as one act of care towards something small and struggling. Number 1. The money tree, Pachira aquatica. In Feng Shui, it belongs in the southeast wealth corner of a home, always with its braid intact, since the braid is what locks the different strands of fortune together. Its leaves typically grow in sets of 5, representing the 5 elements: wood, water, fire, earth, and metal, all present and balanced at once. Keep it in indirect light, water it moderately, and never let it sit in standing water. The activation secret. Place 6 coins at the base of the pot. 6 is tied in Chinese numerology to incoming wealth, and the coins are treated as a direct signal to the energy around the plant about exactly what you are asking it to bring you. One more, before we close, that did not make the countdown but deserves a place in your home regardless. Lavender. It does not pull money toward you directly. What it does, according to generations of folk tradition, is quiet the fear that keeps most people from recognizing opportunity even when it is standing right in front of them. A mind gripped by scarcity cannot see the openings that abundance moves through. Keep it on your bedroom windowsill, and let it be the last thing you tend before you sleep. 15 plants, 15 quiet keepers of a belief that has outlived every generation that has passed it down. Whether you take this as literal spiritual law or as a beautiful old story about intention and care, one thing is true either way. What you tend with attention tends to grow, and what grows with attention tends to change the room around it. If this list gave you even one plant you are going to look at differently tonight, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss what we uncover next. And if someone in your life could use a little more of this kind of luck, send this their way. The plants are patient. They will be waiting for you either way.